Hello, welcome back. Thank you so much for being here. Today we have a full day review and wear test of the newly reformulated Armani Luminous Silk Foundation. Now this foundation has been an absolute cult favorite for such a long time, so I'm almost nervous to test out the reformulated version, but I am hoping that they somehow managed to make it better. I did just try out the last formula back in the spring. I picked it up during the Sephora savings event and I had originally purchased a mini, and this is in the shade 1.5. This shade ended up being very yellow on me, but the formula I absolutely loved because I felt like it gave my skin such a natural soft radiance, but it also dried down to a soft matte. So while it gave me a little bit of a glow, it was nothing crazy. It didn't make me look shiny and oily and sweaty. It just gave my skin this really beautiful soft glow that always made it look like I was having a great skin day. Now I do have dry skin, so I do like something that is going to be hydrating, that is going to give me maybe a little bit of a glow, but I do tend to favor matte formulas because I also hate foundations that stay wet. So for me, this was the perfect formula because it gave me that soft glow, but it dried down completely, so I never had to powder it if I didn't want to. Now, the new formula I picked up in the shade 3.75, which I discovered was my perfect shade when I purchased the concealer recently. And I actually love what they've done with the outer packaging on this. Until recently, their outer cartons have always been this shiny black with silver trim, but this has like this really beautiful flat black, and then on the side you have this sort of matte gold detailing, which I think is so beautiful. Now, the inner packaging hasn't changed too much. The bottle looks to be the exact same shape as the original. The font looks a little bit different, and instead of Giorgio Armani on the bottom, it just says Armani. I do think it looks a little bit more sleek and beautiful, but again, they haven't changed it a ton, and we do still get a nice pump here. So this is supposed to be a newly enhanced formula fusing truer to skin shades and new skin actives. So that is, of course, a huge trend right now with skincare in our foundations. Sometimes it goes well, sometimes it doesn't, so we'll have to see about that. But this is supposed to deliver 24-hour wear and natural glow in a weightless texture that melts into the skin. This is a medium coverage foundation that's going to blur pores, smooth imperfections, and even out skin tone with a skin-like texture. This is now enriched with niacinamide, glycerin, and Mediterranean flower extracts. This is going to give 24-hour hydration and improved skin luminosity and texture in 14 days. This is also in a new shade range with even better color match, thanks to a new 6 pigment formulation. So there are 44 shades available now. And on their website, they also have a very helpful chart, which I'll pop up here as well, to help you pick out your shades. So some shades have remained unchanged. So 3.75 is the same 3.75 it was before, but 1.5, this very yellow one, is either shade 2 or shade 4. It's a little confusing that it could be either or, but they do kind of tell you what your shade was and what it will be, which is very helpful. And I forgot to mention, this is currently available on the Armani Canada website. I think it's available now in Europe as well. I don't think it's available in the US just yet, but this is retailing for the exact same price as before, which is 85 Canadian dollars, which would be 69 US. So the price point has not changed. But let me pin the hair back, I'll zoom you in, and we can get to trying this foundation on. Okay, so it does say to shake well before use, so I've gone ahead and done that as well, and just pumping out a little bit on my palette. And it is quite a liquidy formula. The other formula was also quite thin and liquidy, but this one is even more so. Okay, so I'm just going in with my Tati Beauty ES2 brush. Okay, this is definitely my perfect shade. This is looking really, really nice. It actually seems to be melting right into the skin, which is quite lovely. When brands reformulate beloved foundations that have been around for such a long time, you just never know which way it's going to go. This foundation has been such a staple in a lot of makeup artist kits especially, so I feel like it was a bit of a risky move to reformulate it, but for their sake, I hope they got it right. I'm just going to add a little bit more to the cheek. I just want to see if I can build that coverage a little bit. I really do hope they got this reformulation right though, because it's such a good formula when I tried it back in the spring, and I've used it since because I do really like that original formula, but this is looking really nice though. My skin has been pretty mad at me over the last week. I didn't do anything to it, but it's been pretty mad. But I look so perfected on this side, and it's already dried down. This foundation looks fantastic. So we have with and without. It definitely has a very, very skin-like texture. I feel like it doesn't really look like I have a foundation on my face, aside from the fact that I look kind of perfect. I feel like it kind of just melted right into my skin. It still maintained that coverage and it allowed me to build it in certain spots, but it really just sort of melted right into my skin and became one with my skin, if that makes sense. It also feels very, very lightweight. I can see this being one that I forget that I'm wearing because it's very, very lightweight and comfortable. And it also has fully dried down. So this is not when I'm going to have to powder my entire face. I am so happy with that so far. I've only done half my face and I'm this happy. The shade match is perfect. The dry down is perfect. It's a gorgeous soft matte, but it is still giving me a bit of a natural glow. Yeah, it's too early to say for sure, but after doing half of my face, this is good. Okay, let's go into the other side. And I'm just sort of painting it on with this side of the brush. I do love this brush because applying it this way with this flatter paddle and then just buffing it in with the other side of my brush really makes it so that I don't use too much product. I definitely save a lot of product doing it this way, but I still get that coverage that I want. I did only use one pump of the foundation and we're still going, so that's always good news. I'm loving this foundation shade for me as well. So if we are shade twins, 3.75 is going to be your shade in this foundation. I debated on shade 1 because they have a new shade 1. 1.5 was the lowest number before, but they have a new shade 1, and I was reading the description on it and it sounded really good, but I figured I should just match the concealer that I just purchased. So I'm glad I did because this shade is so good. Okay, so the coverage is pretty good already, but I just want to add a little bit more. Again, this side of my face is just really acting up. This is letting me build the coverage, but it's still staying so natural and skin-like. And you saw my skin before. She's not in good shape at the moment, but it looks so good right now. I've already done my end of year foundation ranking, so this is coming a little bit too late for that. This will end up being in my 2026 ranking, but this is nice. Okay, so it is of course way too early to tell you if I like this or not. I have to wear it throughout the day and I'm gonna have to continue wearing it for a bit. But if this ends up wearing super well throughout the day, it holds up really well and it continues to do so. This could easily be one of my top favorites just for how effortlessly it just applied to my skin, the way it melted into my skin, the way it has such a natural skin-like finish to it. It gives me a little bit of a glow, but it's a very natural skin-like glow. Kind of like my skin, if I just applied moisturizer, I don't look oily or shiny. I just look healthy, which is really what I'm going for. And it's already dried down to a soft matte, so it doesn't stay wet. And I feel like I look so flawless, but not completely canceled. This looks so good. Yeah, if this ends up wearing well, I'm going to be hard pressed to put this foundation down. I'm really glad I like it because it's very expensive, but this is really nice. Okay, for concealer, I'm just gonna do my Armani Luminous Silk in the same shade. I can't believe how much I like this foundation already. Again, I have to see how it wears throughout the day. The wear test could change everything, but I am baffled by how much I like this already. And if we have a lot of similar favorites, this might be one that you end up really liking as well. My absolute favorite foundation is the NARS Light Reflecting Foundation. For a lot of the same reasons that I like this Armani, the NARS is one that I do find I need to powder. I don't find that it fully dries down, but that doesn't bother me because of how smooth and beautiful it makes my skin look. It just makes my skin look so healthy and smooth, and it always just looks like I'm having a fantastic skin day. It doesn't look like I have a foundation on. And this Armani is doing the exact same thing for me. I'm also not detecting a fragrance from the Armani, so that is also something really important to mention. That's something that is really common and something a lot of us hate in our more high-end foundations because they always want to put this heavy fragrance, which can kind of ruin a really great foundation formula. But my favorite is the Nurse Light Reflecting, the new Natasha Denona. I would say the Armani feels a lot more lightweight than the Natasha Denona, and I already think that one feels pretty lightweight. This is kind of reminding me a little bit of the new Makeup by Mario Natural Finish, but this looks even more natural than that one. This is just looking so, so good. So now this is with the foundation and the concealer. I think my base looks so good. I will, of course, still set my under eyes, but I'm just going to quickly pop off camera. I'll finish up the rest of my makeup, and then I will come back to get this wear test started. All right, so here is a final close-up of what the skin is looking like. I think it's looking so, so, so good. My skin looks so smooth, but also very natural. It doesn't look like I'm wearing a ton of makeup. I mean, obviously, with my blush and bronzer, my eyes are fully done, but my skin, it does not look heavy. It doesn't feel heavy. It doesn't feel like I'm wearing makeup. It did fully dry down, so I only powdered my T-zone just to lock in my concealer and make sure I don't get any oils popping through there, but otherwise, this foundation is looking so good. So let me zoom you out and then we can get into the wear test. All right, so far this is looking so good. Again, I only powdered my T-zone, so the foundation is kind of on its own. On the rest of my face, I didn't add setting spray. I didn't do anything unusual for my base prep. I just had my skincare, my moisturizer, and then I did my Dior Backstage Primer, which I do use a lot, particularly with wear test, just because I like how it looks on my skin. But otherwise, I didn't do anything I wouldn't normally. I'm loving how this looks so much. So I cannot wait to see how this wears throughout the day. Again, I have a very busy day. I have a bunch more videos I want to film. And also I will be out and about later. It is really cold outside, so this will be put to the test, but I will see you guys in a little bit when I step into natural lighting, and then I will of course see you back here at the end of the day for the final results. All right, so just stepping into natural lighting, I do feel like my skin looks so smooth. It has such a natural luminosity to it. I am more convinced than ever that the shade match is perfect. I just think my skin looks so good and so smooth, and it just looks like I'm having such a good skin day. So I can't wait to see how this wears all day long, and I will see you at the very end of the day. It is currently about 9:30 in the morning, so we're gonna have a good 12 hours, I think. All right, so we have reached the very end of the day. It is currently at 9 p.m. I put the foundation on around 9:30, so 11 and a half hours I thought was good to call it. The foundation looks so good. I still have all of my foundation and all of my coverage on my forehead and my cheeks. I'm noticing a little bit of a glow in my T-zone, but it still looks really nice. It doesn't look overly oily or anything like that. I have lost some coverage around my chin just from eating and doing other things throughout the day. I do have quite a bit of glitter on my face as well for my eyeshadow. That's kind of my fault because I was outside and it's really, really cold, so I know my eyes were watering a little bit. So my eyes are definitely a mess, but the foundation itself looks so good. And same thing with the blush. I actually used the new Glossier Cloud Paint blush that I picked up recently, and this is still holding on beautifully as well. I think I really like this formula. I did not expect that, but this is quite lovely. Now, the first thing I want to do is show you a quick swatch comparison between the new formula and the old formula, not for the sake of the formula, more so for the sake of the shade. Now, this is the newer formula in the shade 3.75. As you can see, it does have a little bit more of a pinky undertone. It's pretty much a perfect match for my skin. And this is 1.5 in the old formula. So this one is quite yellow. Now this one was in the old formula, but if this was your shade, then this is either shade 2 or 4 in the new formula, according to the chart on their website, but you can definitely see the difference in the undertone of these shades. 3.75 is 100% my perfect shade. So I do feel like my skin looks so smooth and blurred throughout the day. I definitely feel like it gave me that soft radiance. Every time I caught myself in a mirror when I was washing my hands or whatever, I just kept thinking how great my skin looked. And we all know I'm not having a great skin day, but the foundation is making it look like I am. It's really kept up that medium coverage with that soft radiance, but it didn't at all feel wet or tacky throughout the day. I also noticed it wasn't transferring. So whenever I gave my husband a hug today, I would always check his shirt and there was never any foundation on there. So that is always a plus when it is a transfer-proof formula as well. Now, in terms of comparisons between the two, they both wear very similarly throughout the day. They both wear all day long. They stay put. I don't need to powder my face if I don't want to. They both leave a soft glow on my skin that makes it look like I'm having a really great skin day. They both have a solid medium coverage. They both feel incredibly lightweight and have a very natural finish, so it really doesn't look like I have a heavy medium coverage foundation on my skin. It looks so natural and beautiful. I would say the new formula feels a little bit more hydrating, if anything, and I do feel like it blended a little bit more quickly into my skin. That could just be because the shade is better, so I don't know if that's an actual thing, but this definitely does feel a little bit more hydrating, and it should. There are more skincare ingredients in this one. This does kind of remind me quite a bit of the Makeup by Mario natural finish that I've been loving this year, but I do think that the Armani feels a little bit more hydrating, and I just kind of like the soft glow that this gives as opposed to the Makeup by Mario. I love that one so much, but I think I actually like this one a little bit more, and the Mario ranked very high for me this year, so that's quite impressive. I am really, really liking this. I will 100% keep testing this. I will let you know for sure at the end of the month in my speed reviews if I still feel that way. I know I fell in love with this foundation very, very quickly when I put it on, and it's been a long time since I've fallen in love with a foundation that hard that fast. So I do have a good feeling about this. As of right now, I'm not remotely disappointed in the reformulation. I think I might like it just a little bit better. But again, I do need to keep testing it a little bit longer before I officially decide. This is another one that I really need to put to the test beside my NARS Light Reflecting as well, because I'm really, really liking this and I'm really loving how it looks. But that is it. Let me know all of your thoughts down below. Let me know if you are thinking of purchasing this newly reformulated foundation. I am so pleased that they did not mess it up. Let me know if you have any questions maybe I didn't quite answer. I will try to answer those for you in the comments, but that is it for me today. If you're new here, I hope you'll consider subscribing before you go. I do upload new videos every single week. Thank you again so very much for watching, and I will see you in my next one.